Hi, I'm Tiara Rose with All Sports News. Today we're going to be talking to Monea Hendrickson, UCLA women's rugby coach. Could you tell me a little bit about your upbringing and what got you into sports in the first place?
Yeah, I think I'm just an athletic kid. I always have been. Growing up, I remember my mom wanted to put me in ballet, and I did it for 1 year. I was like, this is not for me. I got my first pair of soccer cleats and shin guards, and I distinctively remember wearing them all day, the day that I got the first day of soccer practice. So I've just always been drawn to sports. But I grew up in a super small town, so rugby and any, for lack of a better term, exotic sport was never an option. So I played soccer, basketball, and softball in high school. And then when I got to the college level, I somehow got roped into coming to the first rugby practice, and truly it was love at first sight. I loved everything about it. It was like the physicality that I'd always wanted with the, obviously learning something new that was also kind of fun as well. It's a full contact sport, which is super unique for a women's side to be able to play. A lot of times when there's a men's contact sport, there's not an equal equivalent for the women's side, which is part of the reason why I love it, because every single part of rugby is exactly the same, regardless of men or women. We play on the same field, we play with the same ball, we play the same amount of minutes. Every single rule is the exact same. The only difference is it's men playing men and women playing women. There's two different forms of rugby. Well, there's more than two, but the two common ones are rugby 15s and rugby 7s. Rugby 7s is what you see in the Olympics, and that's really what's kind of the come-up sport at this moment for the rugby world. But rugby 15s is the traditional rugby, 15 players per side, and it's like a soccer game. It's like a 90-minute game. And 7s is 7 players on each team. The game is only 14 minutes, so 7-minute halves, so it goes very fast, but you play on the same size field, so there's a lot more scoring, a lot more action that happens in rugby 7s versus 15s is the long game. Rugby is a very international sport. Obviously, it's not super common within the United States, so when you travel, it's fun to, in terms of rugby, it's very fun to see the sport being played at its glory. I truly think that travel makes the world a better place. I think that if everybody got the chance to go experience different cultures and just being outside of their comfort zone and what they think is normal, I think that that would solve a lot of the world's problems if we're getting on a deeper level. But yeah, I think it just allows you to realize how everybody is welcome, and that's also kind of embedded within the rugby culture, especially on the women's side. It's a very queer-friendly sport, and truly it's come as you are, leave better than you came type of mentality. And the world of rugby, specifically for the women's side, has such a supportive nature that I think that you kind of get to experience while you're traveling as well, within learning new things. Yeah. Perfect. There we go. The only way I ever knew how to make friends was to join a sports team. And that's what worked for me in college, was joining rugby. So I was like, and I've had an ACL injury, unfortunately, so I can no longer play rugby. And I was like, well, if I can't play, I guess I'll coach. So I ended up trying to reach out to a few club teams within the LA area, and they were hiring, but they had already filled the position. So they had a connection to UCLA, and were like, but I think UCLA is actually looking for a coach, and this was last year. So I reached out to them, and they were like, yeah, we're looking for an assistant. So I started as an assistant coach last year, and now this year I'm the head coach.
Going into this season, what are some of the goals you have, not only for your players, but for yourself?
For the players and for the team, definitely to give them a supportive environment while they're in college, because I think that I had a uniquely amazing experience with rugby in college, and truly if I could just copy and paste that model and give it to all of them, that's what I would do. So just making sure that, I think there's a big difference between playing a sport and being a part of a team, and I want to really focus on making sure that we're building that positive team environment versus just going out and the only goal to win games. We obviously want to win games, we're playing a competitive sport, but really making sure that that team culture and team environment is there, and that they feel like they're in a supportive environment to do so. Yeah. And I guess as a coach, just to facilitate that and make that happen. Follow Alona Amar on TikTok because she's like the spokeswoman for especially USA Rugby, but truly any women's environment of rugby specifically, just go get involved if possible. I know that sometimes when you're in a smaller environment, like the town that I grew up in, like rugby's not going to be a thing, but yeah, if you have the opportunity to get involved, just go out to a practice, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be met with a lot of love and support. So don't be afraid to send that DM to the club on Instagram or reach out to one of the teams or emails or something personally and be like, hey, I saw rugby and I love it, or I think I might like it. Where do you think I should start? A lot of the times they'll point you in the right direction. I think that it's a very unique environment to be a part of. It's a pretty common misconception actually that it is more dangerous than football because we don't wear pads, but it's actually, there's a lot more rules and regulation into the contact element of it. So you could very much argue that it's actually safer because you cannot blindside tackle like in football. Like if you tackle somebody, you have to go to ground with them. So you're not just like pushing and shoving somebody. And then because the nature of the game is that you have to pass backwards, the tackle's always coming from the front. So you're seeing it come towards you. We literally teach how to fall, how to get tackled, along with being tackled. So yeah, it's actually a pretty common misconception, but it's arguably more safe than regular football. There's such a level of respect for everybody that plays because you're going out there and you're hitting each other, and then as soon as the game is over, you're like, man, we did that together. I'm biased, but I think it's better than regular football because it doesn't stop. That's the big thing. Like they say that there's 11 minutes of active play in like a 3-hour-long football game versus rugby. It's the whole game is playing. And truly, like rugby is not for everybody, and that is so okay. But watching is for everybody.
Well, thank you so much for being here. And I'm Tiara Rose with All Sports News.